Hello everyone, I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to another episode of the Fragrance Specialist. Today I'm going to review a fragrance from the house of Mont Blanc, and that is Emblem. Now, this scent was released back in 2014, and the perfumer behind this fragrance is Sonia Constant. Now, this fragrance has two flankers. The first one is Emblem Intense, and the second one is Emblem Absolute. Emblem Absolute was released just this year in 2017. And it does have a different note breakdown, and I haven't smelled it yet, but it seems quite interesting. Now let's start with the presentation for this fragrance. As you can see, here's the box right here. This box has a very unique presentation, which shows the model which represents this fragrance. I don't know his name, to be honest with you guys, but he's definitely the person who represents the Emblem series of Mont Blanc. So as you can see, you've got Mont Blanc Emblem as long as the insignia. On the side, you have this is actually the front cover of the sleeve, and this is the side. At the front, you have Mont Blanc Emblem, pretty much the same layout. And you get the insignia right here. Now you remove the sleeve and you can reveal the box right here. Very similar, but the box is all black. You don't get the image of the model on the sides. At the very top you have the Mont Blanc insignia. At the very bottom you have your batch code and barcode, along with the concentration and other relative information. Moving on to the box now. Move on to the bottle now. Here's the bottle. Very unique looking bottle and very heavy glass. This is one of the most unique bottles in my collection. Definitely does represent the emblem of Mont Blanc, as the name implies. Now, one thing you should be careful about is that the cap is very firm. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. See, it takes a little bit of an effort to take the cap, and this is not the problem with my bottle. I think all the bottles have the same problem when it comes to Emblem. So just be careful when you pick up this bottle and you have to put a little bit of an effort to remove the cap. So also the cap and the spray has the Mont Blanc Emblem, which shows you the amount of detail that this fragrance has. Very nice presentation in my opinion, so this gets top marks when it comes to the rating for the presentation. So now let's move on to the smell itself. So let's dissect the notes. So at the top we have grapefruit, clary sage, and cardamom. In the mid notes we have violet and cinnamon, and in the base we have woodsy notes and tonka bean. Now, what do you get from Emblem? As soon as you spray this fragrance, you're gonna notice that beautiful, zesty grapefruit. Now, the grapefruit in this scent is a little bit toned down. What I mean by toned down is that it's not in your face, and it's not the sort of sharp grapefruit that you get with some scents like Aqua Fahrenheit and Legend Spirit by Mont Blanc, which is another fragrance that contains grapefruit. So this one has a very nice subtle grapefruit. Now another thing you should know about this fragrance is that it's a complete fragrance. It has all the notes listed on the site actually matches the smell and are available in the composition of the scent. So this is something that is just outstanding, and I don't normally come across scents that have all the notes in them. So moving on to the mid. Now the cardamom is listed in the top notes, but I personally think it's in the mid notes. So as soon as you finish done with the grapefruit, you see the clary sage. The clary sage is very prominent in this scent, and it really appears right after that yellow grapefruit. Another thing you should know is that When the grapefruit is combined with the clary sage, it has a cucumber smell to it. And this is something that a lot of people have mentioned in the comments section on Fragrantica, that this scent has a cucumbery feel to it. And I totally get this. So when you move on to the mid, you will notice this beautiful cardamom smell along with the violet leaf. Now in the mid, this is one of the most iconic stages in this scent. The mid really shines. You've got this beautiful violet leaf. And another thing I want to say and clarify is that with Fahrenheit, a lot of people have compared this scent to Fahrenheit, but I don't see that at all, because what they're getting with Fahrenheit is the violet flower, but in this case we get the violet leaf, which smells completely different. The same thing goes with Dior Homme. We're talking about the iris flower and the iris leaf. The leaves and the flower smells completely different. The leaf has a more green characteristic and profile, where the flower has a more watery, intense aroma. And because some of the flowers have a really high oil percentage, and when we're referring to a flower, for example, violet flower, the smell is going to be more intense because the oils are centered in the flower. So in this case, we get the violet leaf, which has a very green, sharp smell to it, and you also get a little bit of the violet flower, but it's mainly violet leaf. And I must say, the violet here is very well done. It's well blended. It smells very natural, and it smells really very, herbal, and something that I've found that is just outstanding. And the cardamom, the same thing goes to the cardamom. The cardamom really balances all that zestiness and greenness from the cardamom. The spice allows this scent to be balanced. And in my opinion, the cardamom is not too spicy or too sweet. It's just right in the middle. And the cardamom acts like a smoothing agent to balance out the sharp citrus at the start and the violet leaf. And I must say, it just smells outstanding. When you hit that middle stage, this fragrance smells really, really nice. Now, cinnamon is one of the notes in the scent, but I really don't get cinnamon. I get why they put it in the fragrance note breakdown, but I really get more cardamom than cinnamon. There might be a touch of cinnamon, but I mainly get cardamom. Now when you move on to the base, you get woodsy notes and tonka bean. Now, I personally think there is no tonka bean in this scent, but the same thing goes with like the cinnamon. I get why they put it in the note breakdown, but I really don't get tonka bean, because I'm quite familiar with tonka bean. Tonka bean really smells like a very resinous, sweet, dark aroma. Fragrances that contain a prominent tonka bean note are like Versace Eros and the Polo Red. These scents really have a very strong tonka bean note, but you don't get that at all when it comes to Emblem. So in terms of the woods, I really don't get woods. I sort of get a earthy, musky smell sometimes, and that might be relevant to the woodsy notes, but I really don't get woods. Like, I don't get cedarwood, I don't get sandalwood. So the woods are extremely light in this scent, if there is any. So really, this scent is a very well blended, well balanced scent in my opinion. And this is one of the best Mont Blanc releases when it comes to the modern generation of Mont Blanc. I personally divide Mont Blanc fragrances into two categories. We've got the old generation Mont Blanc, like fragrances like Presence, Star Walker, Exceptionnel, and Individual. And you have the modern Mont Blanc fragrances, which are Legend, Legend Intense, Legend Spirit, Emblem, Emblem Intense, and Emblem Absolute. So if you have these old generation Mont Blanc fragrances, they are distinguished enough to have all four of them. But if you want to have a modern take on Mont Blanc, then definitely you should go with Emblem. Because in my opinion, Emblem is quite different from the Legend series. The Legend series is sort of generic, I must say. It is generic. However, Legend Spirit is a little bit different. But the most distinguished one from all of these modern Mont Blanc fragrances must be the original Emblem. I must say this is one of the best among the new generation Mont Blanc. Another reason why I bought this, and by the way, this is a new release, a new purchase for me. I bought this around 3 weeks ago. Now this scent, one of the reasons why I bought this is because it reminds me of the teenage stage of my life when I was around 13 to 15 years old, and I always smelled this sort of youthful smell that pleases everyone. You know, these crowd pleaser scents around the mall. Whenever I went to the movies with my friends, I always would smell, you know, young guys wearing this scent. So I always have this nice memory associated with this sort of aroma. And a lot of fragrances do have the same smell as this, like Boss Bottle Unlimited, the white one, and a couple of more scents have the same youthful aroma. But I couldn't buy these scents because like I'm almost 20 now, and these scents are just, they're too young for me, and I'm only getting older. I'm not getting any younger, and I must say that those sort of scents doesn't really matches me. So this is why I bought this scent, because it has the same aroma, but the presentation really makes the scent more approachable to the older crowd or the more mature person. And I always say that you don't have to be an old person to be mature. I'm 20 and I'm mature, so it really depends on your personal preference. And I know a lot of people who are 20 years old, even 30 years old, and they still act like a 5-year-old. So it's always about preference, and I really don't believe in age. I believe you can do whatever you want at whatever stage, because when people judge you, they judge you a lot on what you are and what things you have in life and your possessions. And I personally think that this fragrance really matches my characteristic, and I'm glad I purchased this scent because it really does bring me back a lot of good memories when I used to be a little bit younger. And I must say that this is one of the fragrances that you should get if you want to have a new generation Mont Blanc scent in your collection. So let's move on to the rating now. This fragrance, in terms of longevity, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. This fragrance can be quite fleeting, unfortunately. So I highly recommend, if you want to wear this scent continuously, like pretty much every day, definitely get a decant with you. And in terms of projection, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. This fragrance really projects really well for the first hour, then it gets closer to your skin and sort of dies down really fast. In terms of versatility, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. This is a very versatile scent, but in my opinion, I encourage you to wear this scent at night. And if you like this scent so much and you want to wear it in the daytime, then get the intense version because it's just a little bit brighter. This scent does have a little bit of a tiny bit of darkness and depth due to the cardamom note, but the intense version has notes like rose and other bright notes, which allow you to wear it during the daytime. And in terms of presentation, this fragrance gets a 9 out of 10. The only reason why it doesn't get a 10 out of 10 is because of that sturdy cap. I must say that this cap can actually hurt you if you don't open it. If you don't take out the cap correctly, and you might drop the bottle or drop the cap because it's very, very firm. So just please be careful when you take off the cap for this fragrance. And seasons, I would say pretty much all seasons, because As I mentioned, this is a complete fragrance. The citrus allows you to wear it in the summer and spring. The cardamom and the violet leaf allows you to wear it in the winter, and pretty much it's an all year round scent in my opinion. But I always recommend you to wear this scent during nighttime. So you can wear it in all seasons, but just at nighttime, because this fragrance, I know it may sound a little bit off topic, but these fragrance companies, when they choose the color of the bottle, they give you a message. If it's a white or a silver bottle, it means you should wear it at the daytime, and black always means nighttime in my opinion. And I'll try to make a video on how to like fragrance essentials. I'll definitely make this series on how fragrance companies choose the color of the bottle, the name, the models, if there are any. Like this scent has a model to it, so it's a big deal. Fragrances are a big deal, and they have a lot of time and effort and money. They spend a lot of, like, almost millions on advertising just to, for example, some companies like Dior Sauvage, like Dior, when they did the Sauvage, they partnered with Johnny Depp, and I must say they have to give him millions in order to make the advertisement. So guys, thank you again for tuning in. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but I have to cover everything for you guys so you can have a better idea about this scent. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments below. And thank you again for watching, and have a wonderful day.